Hey friends, Ash here. Welcome back to Gents. It's time for everybody's favorite subject. And what is that? Well, it's fragrances that get women's attention. Surprise. Compliment pulling fragrances, attention grabbing fragrances, easy to wear, likable, lovable fragrances. You know the drill. That's what we've got here today. We've got some niche ones, some designer ones, as usual, some that are on the cheaper side, more affordable side of things, some that are a little bit more expensive, exclusive. We got it all. 15 different fragrances, and I'm actually gonna throw in a bonus one, so 16 fragrances that will help you get the attention that you so desperately crave. As always, guys, these will be linked down in the description below. Feel free to check them out down there. Also, you know the drill. You shop at Max Aroma, you shop at twistedlily.com. Either website, Gents10 is the code to get yourself 10% off. LuckyScent.com through the end of June. Gents2023 is the code. And So Avant-Garde, all of these also in the description. Ashton20, 20% off. First fragrance, Yves Saint Laurent, La Nuit de l'Homme. I am glad I caught that. Now, what can you say about La Nuit de l'Homme? It has an unholy number of flankers at this point, just constantly pumped out. And La Nuit de l'Homme itself was a flanker originally, but it was so successful, they were like, you know what? That's its own line now. So, yeah. Cardamom, lavender, a little bit of a woodiness in there as well. This one's sweet, sexy, spicy, perfect date night fragrance. It has stood the test of time. La Nuit de l'Homme is a hype beast in the past and forever, and for good reason. If you're looking for an evening fragrance that will help you get attention, La Nuit de l'Homme, a great place to start. From there, a very obvious one, Dior Sauvage Eau de Parfum. Bergamot, lavender, vanilla, some of the notes in the fragrance. Goes without saying, Dior Sauvage, one of the biggest modern compliment pulling lines on the market, if not the biggest actually, because it is the best selling line of fragrances currently for men in the United States, and by a wide margin actually. So this will absolutely not have you smelling extremely unique, because again, it's the most popular fragrance line that's out there right now. But the reason it is so popular is because it's so good at pulling positive attention, and also it has great performance that doesn't hurt either. So the Eau de Parfum version of Sauvage is going to be a little bit smoother than the Eau de Toilette. It's going to be a little bit less aggressive, a little sweeter with the vanilla in there, and that is why I've chosen it for this list. But that's not the only monster blue fragrance on the market that everybody loves, that has versatility that is nearly unmatched. No, there are other ones like this. Bleu de Chanel, and this is also the Eau de Parfum. Citrus, woods, and spice with a little bit of incense in there. Bleu de Chanel, as I said, extremely versatile. You can wear this literally anywhere, any season, daytime, nighttime, does not matter, and everyone is gonna think you smell fantastic. So whereas the Sauvage line of fragrances is the biggest seller right now in the US, the Bleu de Chanel line is the second biggest seller. So either way, a lot of people are wearing these fragrances, but as I said, this will absolutely get the job done. Really like a master of all trades. Now let's keep it with a blue fragrance, but let's switch it. Let's go with something niche and something much more attention grabbing, at least in terms of the presentation, the bottle itself. It is from MORESQUE and it's called SAHARA BLEU. Now that is blue. Like see, Bleu de Chanel here, this is like a classy, understated dark blue. This is blue. And I love the way that this scent smells. Like this is super attention grabbing. Again, the bottle's a work of art. You see this on a dresser or something, that's gonna catch your eye, absolutely. But the fragrance itself is also just as attention grabbing as the bottle is. Now, some people have compared this to the smell of Creed's Aventus, and you know, to be fair, at this point, there's probably 200 plus fragrances out there between designers, niche, indie, clones that smell similar in some way to Aventus. When you spray this one on, immediately just grabs your attention. Tantalizing, it's got Granny Smith apple in there, citrus, ginger. It's just an amazing open. Really sets the tone. You have some fresh florals, some clean florals as the fragrance dries down, a bit of lavender in there, jasmine as well. Thing smells awesome from open to dry down. Let's hop back over to designers next with Jean Paul Gaultier's Le Male Le Parfum. A little bit of a hype beast, this one as well. This has that Le Male DNA, that classic Le Male DNA, but modernized, made a little bit darker and given an iris addition along with some sweet spices in there. Good performance, fantastic cool weather scent, very good for an evening out or a date night. Le Male de Parfum, in my opinion, is the Le Male to own at this point if you still want that bit of Le Male DNA to it. Because there are other flankers in the Le Male line, which has a boatload of flankers that also are fantastic in their own right, but they don't really call back to the original all that much, whereas this one does. Okay, next one is a fragrance that I personally do not really like. It is Paco Rabanne's 1 Million Parfum. I am not much of a fan of this. I don't particularly like to wear it or anything, but it is a big compliment puller, attention grabber. Women seem to love this stuff. My wife loves it, her friends love it. I've gotten unsolicited compliments wearing this stuff when I was testing it out. You know, it is what it is. It's not for me, but obviously it is for a lot of other people out there. So this has leather, amber, and solar notes as some of the notes in the fragrance, and it ends up smelling kind of like you dropped sunscreen into a leather bag and it got smeared on the inside of the bag, and then you sprayed it on yourself. So 1 Million Parfum, definitely a good change of pace for summertime or late spring, early fall. You know, it's not your typical masculine designer fragrance for warm weather. I give it props for that, but don't go crazy heavy with it because in the high heat, that could be potentially a bit overwhelming if you douse yourself with it really hardcore. In moderation, people love it. Niche again, Parfums de Marly, Layton. Lavender, apple, vanilla, some of the notes in the fragrance, warm, spicy, sexy, compliment puller. It's another fragrance that has been, I don't want to say ripped off, but it is a fragrance that has inspired a number of other scents out there. Tons of cologne fragrances, other niche fragrances, designer fragrances, a lot of scents that have taken inspiration from Layton. For good reason though. I mean, this stuff, you can't go wrong with it, but just everybody loves it. And Parfums de Marly is a niche brand that you can find quite often for a pretty good price at discounters. Sometimes they'll have big blowout sales for Parfums de Marly, but even when they're not doing that, you can still usually find it for a decent price. Let's switch gears a little bit. Valentino Uomo Intense. Now yes, Valentino Uomo, born in Roma, that whole line for younger people, probably gonna be a bigger compliment pulling line than Valentino Uomo, the original, and Uomo Intense. But that doesn't mean that this can't get the job done, and for guys that are maybe middle-aged and a little bit older, Valentino Uomo Intense may be the better choice. Iris, vanilla, leather, some of the notes in the fragrance, very iris forward. It's a scent that gets compared to Dior Homme Intense, and also to an extent, Gentleman Eau de Parfum. So it's kind of in that wheelhouse, that style of iris, that sort of makeup-y, lipsticky, slightly powdery, creamy iris, which I personally absolutely love, but I know that some people do not. So if you don't like that type of scent, then this probably won't be for you. But if you do enjoy that type of fragrance, you have got to check this out. It is awesome. And the addition of leather in here as it dries down just takes it a step further. Valentino Uomo Intense, great stuff. Okay, let's get a cheapie in here. Mont Blanc Explorer. So this is another one, a little Aventus-y, a little Creed Aventus-like. But this one is done very much in the style of wanting to be a Creed Aventus alternative on the cheap. Has bergamot, vetiver, and ambroxan as some of the notes in the fragrance. The good thing about this is the quality is nice for the price that you can pick this up for at discounters. The presentation looks really good. And like Creed Aventus, the versatility is here. You can wear this stuff just about anywhere and it's going to do very well for you. All right, another hype beast, SPICEBOMB Extreme Victor and Rolf. For me, at least as of when I'm filming this video, I haven't smelled the new infrared yet or anything else way in the future, who knows. But as of this video, I think SPICEBOMB Extreme is the SPICEBOMB to own if you're only gonna have one. And that's because this still has the original SPICEBOMB DNA that, you know, kicked the whole line off. It's still here, very prevalent in the fragrance. You can pick it up right away and know immediately, okay, yes, that's a SPICEBOMB. But Extreme for me, at least anyways, is an improvement over the original. The vanilla in here really helps take it a step further than the original did. It smooths it out a little bit, less aggressive in the opening, which makes it more palatable to more people. that addition of a bit of sweetness from the vanilla really helps that one with more wearability and also complement factor. All right, back to niche we go with Bond No. 9's Bleecker Street. Violet leaf, blueberry, suede, some of the notes in the fragrance, a very green scent, which, I mean, you look at the bottle, makes sense, doesn't it? But it has this sort of grassiness when you spray it on, which I frankly love. I really, really dig the opening of this, and as it dries down, the wearability is just there in spades. During spring, early summer, early fall even, this stuff is fantastic. It is a hype beast. It is one of, if not the most hyped fragrances from Bond No. 9, and it also shares a similarity to Ralph Lauren's Purple label, very obvious similarity. So you could maybe ding it for that, and you could maybe say that Bond No. 9 in general is a little overpriced, but as long as you pick up Bleecker Street from a discounter, I think it's a wonderful scent. From there, we hop on over to Azzaro's Wanted by Night. Cinnamon, tobacco, and mandarin, some of the notes in this fragrance. This has been a love of mine for a long while. I mean, basically ever since it came out. But there are some drawbacks to this, at least sort of drawbacks. For a long while, you could find this at discounters for under 30 bucks for a 50 ml size bottle. But consistently, you could find this for a very small amount of money. It was a great cheapie. And then as time has gone on, it has been less and less frequently available at discounters. And usually that's not a good thing. Usually it's a red flag when you have a fragrance that is extremely inexpensive and then stops appearing at all. Of course, that doesn't mean that it's absolutely on the chopping block or anything like that, but it's one of those deals where you look at it and you go, I wonder if something's up here. As of this video though, it is available at Ulta on their website, but in another kind of head scratching moment there, it's marked off pretty heavily. Normally it would retail for about $100 on Ulta's website for a 100 ml size bottle. They have it for $60 right now, and it is not a site-wide sale on men's fragrances. It's just Wanted by Night. I still love the stuff. It has done so well for me at getting positive reactions. Niche again, Algabra's Eye of Seven Hills. This was the first fragrance that I smelled from the brand, and it impressed the heck out of me. So this one is warm, spicy, and boozy. It's been compared to Side Effect from Initio, but it's kind of like maybe a slightly more masculine twist on that style of fragrance. But if you like Side Effect, you should like this one. And actually, I think this is better than Side Effect. It is powerful, strong, syrupy, a little bit sweet. It's got whiskey, vanilla, tobacco, saffron, a lot of stuff going on here. Smells fantastic, but it's really better for fall and winter time. Great kind of under the radar scent. This stuff, really an attention grabber, very strong. Something more common after that, EROS Flame from Versace. A lot of you guys out there, when I've asked you in the past, what's a fragrance that you wear when you're looking for attention, you're looking for compliments, you're looking for a confidence boost, so many of you will say EROS Flame. And I always find it interesting. EROS, super popular line. So it's not like this is under the radar in the sense that it's some underground fragrance or anything, but a lot of people out there are wearing the original EROS or, EROS Eau de Parfum, something like that. But then for you guys that watch the videos, oftentimes this is the one that you show love to. And it makes sense. People love this stuff. Like in the air, EROS Flame does smell really, really good. When I first got this, I was not very impressed. That was years back when it was first released. As I wore it more and I got reactions from it and I started to, pick up whiffs of this stuff as I was wearing it, I was like, that's actually pretty good. And it is. Love the little twist that they do with Kinoto in here. I think it gives it an interesting edge versus the original EROS. It's not quite as aggressively bubblegummy as the original EROS either. Still has that sweetness, still has that attention-grabbing aspect to it, but I think more versatile. Two more to go. The next one, Dylan BLEU from Versace. A more affordable blue alternative to Sauvage and Bleu de Chanel that we talked about earlier, but still from a brand that everybody and their mama is gonna know. Like literally everyone knows Versace. And people who don't know a ton about fragrances, if they hear the name Versace, that's what you're wearing, they're gonna think, oh yeah, that's pretty high end. Now you and I both know that you can get this from discounters for like 50 bucks, but they don't need to know that. It has everything you want from a BLEU fragrance, the versatility, daytime, nighttime use, basically any season. You get that opening with the citrus that's very appealing. Little incense in there adds a smoky, mysterious touch, and it has the ambroxan to keep it very modern. Dylan BLEU, great choice for just about any time. That won't break the bank. Last fragrance, a newer one, Boss the Scent Magnetic. My wife loves this. Of the new fragrances that have come out this year so far that she smelled, one of her favorites. She really digs it in the air. It's kind of a vanilla fragrance at its heart. I mean, they only give you 3 notes here. Bran, which just is kind of a head scratcher. Bran, like raisin bran, like bran cereal. Yes, bran is one of the notes. There's also Manenka, which ties it in with the entire of the scent line, so that makes sense. And then vanilla. Now, vanilla is not some hyper unique note or anything like that, but one thing vanilla is extremely appealing. And this is basically vanilla with an interesting twist from the Manenka and the Bran. So it's not maybe as straightforward vanillic as some other fragrances out there that are known for vanilla being the star of the show. But the little twist that it has, I think, is interesting. And the little bit of powder that it has is not overdone to the point that it becomes hard to pull off. In the air, smells fantastic. The scent Magnetic, I think one of the best the scent flankers, maybe the best that's come out since Private Accord for me. So there we go. That one will wrap this list up. Fragrances that women love, compliment pullers, whatever you want to call them. Let me know in the comments, guys, some of the fragrances that you wear when you yourself are just trying to wear something because you're trying to get yourself some attention. Don't pretend like you don't. Thank you all for hanging with me. Stay safe out there. I'll see you tomorrow with another fragrance video. See you guys later.